the man, yes sir, they killed the bear barehanded so the people won't forget it. Getting money for I was legal to drink. I care what a broke nigga think.
Just like the pack of Lewis.
Look, everything I do so cold. I can do this, both eyes closed. Too sharp, I stay on my toes. About that guap boy, anything goes. Help the bear if we outside. Help the bear if we outside. Still tipping, baby, nothing changed. I'm still grinding over here, yeah. Still sliding through my own lane. Shorty, nothing funny over here. Dallas rain everywhere around me. Dream to get money. Made it through the storm, living sunny. Dreams came true, now we eating. More dreams to chase, gotta reach them. Trying to put a team together like the Hunger Games. Everybody grinding because we all came from hunger pain.
What we about to do. Late Ill Kid at OneYoungsta holding it down, bringing that street geek and nerd soul. What is up, my people? Today, all year, coming with another wonderful episode of That's Right. We're just going to have some fun with some on-screen live action. And this is the book of Boba Fett. All right? You know who we talking about, that chapter 3. All right? And we got some cool people coming through today. Already joined by right over here.
Hey. All right. Yeah, making sure everything is set up and working on my side.
The cinematic sorcerer, Solar Gray. What's up?
Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Solar Gray, the cinematic sorcerer, coming at you from the Wizard's Tower. What's going on? We're here. I got the candles going. And yeah, we are here to talk about sci-fi action scenes and why flying cars are a bad idea, but hovering motorcycles might work.
Oh boy, it's a tough world out there. It's a tough world out there. So basically, if this is brand new to you, thanks for coming through. Go to hit that thumbs up, all that stuff, share it, subscribe, all that jazz. We're gonna be talking about Boba Fett episode 3 or chapter 3, as if you've seen it. So hey, look, it's out there.
Spoiler warning.
You should have seen it.
We gonna get spoiled. Yeah.
It's a TV show.
It comes out on Wednesdays, guys, or Tuesday night after midnight, wherever it is you live in. So
yeah. So I think I'll start out with some. You know what? I'll do this as a remembrance piece, because last night I went back and watched. Last night I went back and watched the final episode of The Mandalorian.
Okay.
Season 2. Just to kind of get caught up and kind of see how Boba was in that, and seeing how he kind of helped out the Mandalorian, seeing the whole attack on the light cruiser. That was cool. That I enjoyed it. I forgot how dope Finnick was. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Not that I be forgetting, but just because Boba ain't let her loose yet. You know what I'm saying? Let her loose. You know what I'm saying? You got dogs, let them loose. All right.
I don't want to call her a dog on a leash, but no, it's you. Did you watch Voltron when you were a kid, or the new Netflix one?
I watched the new Netflix one. The older Voltron, I knew about it, but I was really more of a Transformers kid.
All right. Well, when I was a kid, we were watching Voltron, and this is the same thing in the new one. So follow me on this one. Right. They would have that big old fight, and then the monster would get big, and then they would form Voltron from all the lions, and then they would fight, and then fight. And then every fight would end with Voltron pulling out the sword and cutting the monster in half. And growing up in my neighborhood, it was, well, if it was going to be like that, why didn't you just start with the sword? But the reason, and fighting games taught us this. The sword's the finishing move. You got to wear them down. You got to hit them with them body blows and them jabs and all that stuff. Yeah. Then you can pull out that finishing move, and that's what she is. Mm-hmm. she is that Akuma, making the screen go all bright.
Oh, okay. So
that's what I see her as.
For all my Street Fighter fans out there, You gotta.
I don't play many video games, but I have bought my own house with the quarters I spent at the arcade back in the day.
So, I saw that. I went back and looked. Really enjoyed that, and I was just like, this is good. You get me kind of pumped up to talk about this today. Now, we've had some controversy this week. And I want to get your take. I'm gonna get Hannibal when he rolls through, and hopefully we'll get Ryan in here too. Shout out to Geeky Andre. Shout out to Mr. Lee. We had some controversy this week, and I'm gonna see if I can find someone who said it the most. Who had a meme about it. I think it's what's his name? Well, you know what? I'm not going to say his name because I don't particularly agree with him, and I don't want to have no beef because I don't really care to have the beef. But there was a meme that was shared, and it says "wanted this, got this." And when it says "wanted this," it has a picture of all the bounty hunters with Darth Vader there, like IG-88, Bosk, and so on, right?
Right. The no disintegration scene. Yeah.
And he was like, no, he pointed his face hard. Like, apparently he was known for disintegrating people because
I guess
he pointed dead in his face. Like, especially you. Like, at least.
Especially you, Mr. Rocket Pack.
But at least he didn't do it how teachers would do. They're going to talk to the whole class when we know you only talking to 2 kids, but we all got to get the speech. Darth Vader was like, no, no disintegration. like Bosk doesn't have this problem. You know what I'm saying? This is you. So, but then it says got this instead. And it has a picture of, of course, Boba, Fennec, and the bikers that they end up, meeting. And, it's stated in a way where they're not too happy about it. And that seemed to be kind of the general feeling, the general feeling about this episode is that people were not happy with the bikes and the different colors, and they weren't feeling it. They didn't like it. They weren't happy about it. And there were people with memes with Power Rangers and all kinds of stuff, and they just weren't feeling it. Mm-hmm. Where do you sit? Because me, well, you know what? I want you to go first. You know what I'm saying? I want you to get a chance to share your piece. How are you feeling about this? Did you know about the controversy? Do you care? Do you like the bikers? Do you not like them?
Okay, so here's the thing. One, as everybody who's been keeping up with our review of this show goes, this being the 3rd episode, I am not the warhead that everybody else is. Okay, I'm not that guy. And I'm glad that you have me on the show because I kind of represent the regular person, not the diehard Star Wars fan on this.
Okay.
So one, I understand where color plays a role in sociology and anthropology. Okay. So I can start there. All right. I learned this when I was just out of college around 2002, 2003. And I worked for a lot of people whose family came from mainland China. And they were explaining to me that fashion, architecture, neon, and all that stuff is big, huge in mainland China because a good amount of China is desert. And the things that it takes to make color are very, very rare. So having bright, boisterous colors is something that almost everybody wants because it's so unavailable. Okay. Now, given it through that lens, I'm looking at Tatooine. Tatooine, Dune, desert planet. And I'm like, all right, We got bikes, and oh my God, there's some color. It's something other than brown and beige. And I don't know if that was a lore thing. We would need Hannibal here to talk about that because he is the lore master.
Yeah.
But anthropologically speaking, and in the language of filmmaking, I could see it. I could really see it as something that was kind of required to differentiate that gang from the brown and beige soldiers for the huts, the brown and beige citizens, the brown and beige gangs, the brown and beige mayor, and then these colorful bikers. Okay. Now, second, so I see the necessity of it, and I could hear the costume designer and the set dressers going, "Oh, thank God." That is what I could see in here. Second, I am a biker, remember? So futuristic motorcycle.
But you don't have a colorful bike though. You have, you got a black bike. Isn't it black?
No.
I remember it. Oh,
my bike is a recreation of Prince's bike from Purple Rain.
I remember. Oh, because I was there at nighttime. So it looked dark color, but all right, cool.
Yeah, no, my bike is purple. Prince Purple. Okay. Her name is Nikki. All right.
Bikers who in California still scare me. The riding between the lanes, man, I feel like somebody, is drinking a coffee, or somebody's not paying attention, or trying to yell at their kids in the back seat in like a small move, and then they tap the bike into another car, and then the cars. In my mind, I'm like, it's too easy to die doing this.
That's why Harleys are loud. That is the number one reason they are so obnoxiously loud, so that they can be heard when they're on the road. Although I ride a Honda, so it's a completely different thing. But that's a conversation for a whole nother show. Come on Dark Side of the Room one day and we'll talk about that at length. So when I was a kid, or not when I was a kid, I think it was 15, 20 years ago, I fell in love with the comedy stylings of Lewis Black. And he was talking about how the future did not.
The man who's just annoyed at everything.
Huh?
The man who's annoyed at everything.
Yeah, and he's like, we're in the future and we don't understand how cell phones work because nobody understands the pricing program, and no flying cars. And at the time, I lived on the second floor of an apartment building in the middle of, I think it was in the Valley. And I'm thinking, I don't want flying cars. I have had to dodge enough cars while sitting on bus stops from people losing control. I've seen people try and learn stick, and I see what happens when the car stalls on the ground. I don't want to put that in the air. I don't want to put.
Well, I assume that we removed that part.
Don't assume. Science is all about coulda, not what actually works, but how cool can we make something.
Well, I feel that even though it's science, there would be people that actually make cars saying like, "Yo, there's no need for stick up here. It doesn't even really, it doesn't really have an application in the air like this. We don't need that. Throw it out. They're all automatic."
That's a possibility. However, living on the second floor, the one thing that occurred to me when I was thinking about this is I don't have to fear a car barreling into my living room at 2:30 in the morning right after all the bars close.
Only on the first floor.
Exactly. Second floor.
And
you know what?
Go to YouTube.
I got time to wake up. I got time to find like a load-bearing wall. Maybe I could ride the apartment falling down. Maybe my apartment wouldn't even fall. But if I'm woken up at 2:00 in the morning from a tercel coming through my wall, there's not a whole lot I can do. So
even though that's happened,
I'm good.
The cars that don't fly.
Yeah, exactly. Now, if the cars flew, I'd have to worry about that on the second floor, on the third floor, on the fourth floor.
It works out on Coruscant.
Now,
it works out just fine. All right.
We don't know what the booze is like on Coruscant, and I never saw teenagers or college students on Coruscant. Remember, in Star Wars, they send their kids away until they are grown-ups.
Now, hold on. I know we want to blame teenagers and college kids for bad driving, but I'm going to tell you, I've been ran off the road twice by drivers that weren't paying attention. And I've been almost run off the road maybe 3 or 5 more times.
Oh, I'm
and
listening.
every time it was someone who looked like a golden girl. That's all I'm saying.
You
It
know
was not a
what?
teenager. It was not a college student. It was
No,
someone that
I
looked like
give
a
you
golden
that.
girl.
I give you
And
that.
I was like, yo, do you see me? Do you see? Stop.
There are elder drivers that do that kind of thing, but
So I'm
only
gonna
talking
hold
from
it
my
down for my high
perspective.
school drivers for a second. All
Yeah,
right,
no,
just for a little bit.
I'm only pointing that out from my demographic because I tend to live in college towns. Okay. So yeah, so that's a completely different thing. My sample size is not large enough. I'm only dealing off of anecdotal experiential things. But where I was going with that is I liked the bikers. I liked the biker gang. Number one, it was good to see new-ish technology in Star Wars. Because let's face it, every kid who wanted to be a biker, especially when the Original was in theaters, we had 2 things. We had ninjas on motorcycles from bad B movies, and we had the speedster scene from Return of the Jedi with everybody on indoor riding those speeders. Okay, so and Boba Fett episode 2 already gave us the speeders, those long Cadillac things and stuff like that. And it didn't hit me until I watched this. The streets of all these places are real narrow, real short. So those speed bikes would have a hard time maneuvering. So it was nice to see a regular motorcycle-sized hover thing do something inside the city setting. Okay. And so I was hyped on that chase scene. I was just like, and when they did the whole jump in the bridge and then riding the edge of the building like Marty McFly on a hoverboard, I'm like, yes, all right. Like I said, I don't want flying cars, but hovering motorcycles, all right. I can deal with hovering
just
motorcycles.
A little bit. Just a little bit.
But no more than that. And as far as the colors and all that stuff goes, because I saw the Power Ranger meme and I didn't quite get what people were saying. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't mind there being color. I really don't, especially not on the desert planet. The color palette in Star Wars in general, at least on screen, never really sat well with me because it was black and white versus brown and beige, maybe throw in some green. But am I wrong?
To a certain degree,
brown and beige, you know. Black, white, and gray, Empire, cold, sterile, industrial. The Rebels, they might wear some white, but it was mainly beige white when they were on Hoth.
They had the earth tones because they had the orange for the flight suit guys. They had the orange stuff, so they had some. They had the earth tones.
And I really hate to call up the prequel trilogy, but the people complaining about the colors and all that stuff were probably the same ones complaining about Amidala's wardrobe.
She stayed fly though. She did stay fly.
I ain't saying she didn't, but I am saying she wasn't all brown and beige. But every time we hit Tatooine, it's all brown and beige, and I get that. I totally get that because it's a desert planet. Colors come from stuff you find in nature, and there ain't much nature on Tatooine. So brown, beige, and now we got some bright colors to pop out to say, hey, guess what? We a gang. And again, I grew up in South Central in the 80s. So I know what colors mean. You see these colors, you know who you messing with. You know to steer clear. You see that hot pink hover bike, you know what happens if you steal it, John Wick style. So I'm fine with all that. Visually, I was cool with it. All
right, so shout out to Blurtish. I don't know if it's Keith or Mark, but shout out to both of y'all. Shout out to Clever Little Vixen and Eon 001. Eon 001 said those cyber goons was from South London. That accent was strong. See?
Oh yeah.
See Eon. Yeah. See Eon. He over across the pond. Eon 001 is holding me down in the United Kingdom. No,
greetings from the UK, mate.
Yo, on the real, the next time I come to London, I'm gonna be like, hey, all right, we chilling.
Hey, I lived in the East End for a little while. I'm here. Yeah, I lived in the East End for a little while. I'm all down. Hell, I've been living kebab for a while.
I lived there for like right around a month. I visited for like 2 weeks, then I came back and basically lived there for like a month. And that was all in like 07, 08. So that it's been a while. So you know what I'm saying? It's been a while. And it basically was cloudy every single day, except the day that I flew in and flew out. I was like, oh, here goes the sun. I'm about to leave. It was like, oh man, yo, Clever Little Vixen, you ain't lying. That kebab, man, that chicken shish, yo, look, hey, London, we here. Oh, shouts to London.
Bro, I'm down with
fish and chips.
Yeah, I'm down
fish
with
and chips. Well, they be holding you down. They don't give you like, here's like, you know, like a medium.
No, it's about a two.
No,
it's about
they
a 2
give
pound,
you a shovel.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking like, oh, you know, fish and chips like over here.
Nah,
over there,
son.
bruh. They gave me like 2 planks of fish
with some salt and vinegar. Let's go. You know?
They gave me like 2 planks of fish and a shovel of fries or chips. And I was just like, all this for I ain't really give you that much money. This is all right. I was like,
nah,
I'm not gonna hate on you.
Bro. Yeah, and $3 and it's good. So yeah. Yeah, honestly, I've been wanting to go back for a while because I've wanted to see how Cheapside and Whitechapel have changed since I was there in 02, 03. So, but
I can't even remember where I can't remember. The first time I went there, we actually stayed in South London, and then we moved over to Croydon. Then the second time I was there, I can't remember where I was. I know I was close to L Square, but I don't know exactly where I was.
Fair enough.
So
yeah,
I can't tell y'all that. I was in a friend of mine's apartment, which it was kind of shady the way he set it up. Him and his roommates was not vibing, but somehow I was able to stay there. So, hey, look. But anyway, I'll start with this on the bikers, all right?
Yeah.
For everyone who loved Jet Moto, all right? Y'all have been vindicated, all right? Y'all have been vindicated. Y'all have been waiting for Jet Moto for all these years, and we got it, all right? I want to see more of this, okay?
Yeah.
I remember I used to play Jet Moto all the time, all right? And I was darn good at Jet Moto, all right? Shout out to, where is PlayStation with Jet Moto like 6? Come on, PS5. Y'all ain't got no new Jet Motos? Like, look,
we
Jet
are
Moto
well outside the realm of my experience, my friend. Well outside the realm.
We got F-Zero. We basically got F-Zero and Jet Moto. That's all we got.
Okay.
All right. F-Zero is the floating cars. Jet Moto is the floating bikes, and you just racing. You know what I'm saying?
You know.
But what you said about the speeder bikes makes a very, very important point, because how would I phrase it? Because when you have those kind of speeder bikes that are very kind of like very industrial, you know, they kind of like they get the job done. When you're young, you're flashy. You want to customize. You want to change up. You want to, you know, no matter what it was. Like I remember, like you know, of course, regular 9 to 5. I do, you know, marketing, graphic design, production art, all of that. So I would buy plain white shoes and paint them. Like, you know what I'm saying? You just want to customize and have your own thing when you're like in high school, college. Like you want to do that.
Youth is about carving out your own distinct identity and finding a place in the world for that. So
like
it makes
buying
sense.
blank shirts, airbrushing them, painting them, whatever. That's just what you did. Well, certain kids, that's what you would do. You know, like you would cut the shirts, you would style the shirts, you would paint the shirts, dye the shirts, whatever, because you wanted it to be like yours. Like that was like you wanted to show your thing. Or like some kids would, you know, like the goth kids would go super matrixed out with the black nails. Or you would have like rocker kids or punk kids with like any highlighter color hair you could think of, they would have it. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's what you did at that age. So you have these young kids in this, imagine these young kids in this sand where it gets everywhere. And it's a whole bunch of poor kids. They don't got no other way to kind of say I am me except through their cars, through their ride, through their clothes. You know what I'm saying? Because they probably living with their mama. You know what I'm saying? So,
I live 6 miles away from where lowriders came to be.
Yeah,
so I feel it.
It's like we got these speeder bikes, which probably did not look like that when they got them, but they probably, you know, tweaked them up, you know, polished them, put a little spit shine on it.
Yeah,
you know,
gearheads,
went to old boy that, you know, he knows how to fix cars. There's one kid in class that knew how to fix cars, you know what I'm saying? So they went to him or her and got that joint shined up, you know, and now it's their whole crew. That's how they roll. You know, they got their augmentations and that's how they ride. And it's like, that's their little crew.
Hey, we already saw taggers. You know, we already saw taggers with the Justice League things a little bit earlier. So
so it's like I'm not mad at it. I thought it was actually kind of cool to see the people of Tatooine, or in this case, Mos Espa.
That's what I'm remember in the first episode of this season when you were asking what I wanted to see, and I said a woeful lack of Jedi and more of the regular people and the cultures that come from this, not just Jedi, not rebels, just, you know, what is this world that everybody's fighting for? And we got that. We're getting that. So I'm cool. I'm cool with the bikes. I'm cool. I love that. You know, I'm all Mr. Sci-Fi. Yeah. And lately I've been doing a lot of reading and studying on the origins of grim dark and cyberpunk and all of that stuff. And they have very solid and repeated tropes over and over again.
Okay.
And the urban tropes are always lack of resources, the reasons why gangs get together and what they are, and distinguishing qualities and motivations between each particular gang, each particular group of people. And growing up where I did, when I did, I got a little insight on that from life experience. So I'm looking for the intellectual thing. And this one hit all the marks. So, you know, the people that are going, oh man, all them colors. I'm like, dude, back off. Evidently, you never lived in the inner city.
It's like
you never lived in Baltimore or Compton or Oakland, you know?
Yeah, and I want to get into how we meet these kids real quick. So we basically have this sniveling, snitchy type dude from the can't remember what I guess like the work section or whatever, wherever he came from. Basically, he looked like the guy that was hurrying up to be the first one to kiss up. Like, all right, we saw he survived the attack. We saw he's still here. Jabba the Hutt came. He kind of stood him down. Let me be the first one to go up there and kiss some tush. So maybe I'll get what I want. And ended up getting a spotlight on him that he didn't want.
Grima worm tongue, my friend. This is a classic literary trope. You know, there's always going to be that one sniveling guy that serves power. Always going to be that little dude, be it, what's his name from The Sopranos, Grima Wormtongue. I'm not going to say Starscream, but I will say Soundwave. You know?
Soundwave always seemed pretty loyal, though.
He was loyal to whoever was in charge. Because when Megatron was there, he had Megatron's back. When Starscream took over, he tried to usurp, but then he just stood back. Then Galvatron got there, and he was Galvatron's dude. So, you know, even though Galvatron is but I see where you're going. We can kind of let Galvatron slide because it's sort of the same dude, kind of. But yeah, I get you. I get you on that. But I love how he was like, well, you know, I'd love to pay you, but you know what I'm saying? They robbing me out here. I need you to come out here. You need to help. You know what I'm saying? You in charge, right? You got to help because they stealing from me. And then so both guys like, all right, let me check it out. Let me see who's stealing from me. And they're like, look, ain't nobody. He's overcharging everybody. And he's like, well, what are you charging y'all? He was like, they charging this. He was like, bruh. You come over here with this song and dance and you want me to help you rob them? This is the fair price, and y'all. And see, that whole recruitment of the Power Rangers, that was what I wanted to see from Boba Fett. That straight up
okay.
politics. Okay.
Yeah.
That
I
was
like how he's there for the people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was Cisco outmaneuvering Quark in the first episode of DS9. You know, I was like, oh no, I see what the situation is. So
Quark is a
you're
trip
gonna
too,
take
man.
a fair payment, and y'all work for me now.
Yeah.
What, y'all want to make some real money? All right, come on with me.
Because the dude straight up said, he was like, there ain't no work out here. He like, look around you. You see anybody? You see any jobs? There ain't nothing for us to do but mess around, to work on our bikes, mess around and start trouble. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, you know what? Y'all ain't got no job. Y'all come work for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, when that happened, I was like, oh, I was like, y'all about to get you some gangsters.
Yeah, he's a crime lord. He needs muscle. All right. He's going to need somebody to enact his will on the streets.
And even more importantly, because they don't really look like muscle, but they know Mos Espa. I need someone who knows this place, someone who grew up here and knows the ins and outs. And like, they know Mos Espa more than anyone, probably.
Exactly. So that was a brilliant political move. And then when the story unfolded, which was, well, he was going to do this anyway because a big black Wookiee is coming to come get him. And as soon as that scene popped off, I literally just stopped what I was doing. I paused it and I'm like, well done. Well, because you could see from the very first scene in that episode, outside of the flashbacks, he was always thinking. Yeah. You know, he was always thinking, and his right hand was like, nah, you got to go out there. This is a street thing. You got to go out there. You got to leave not alive. You got to show that you're the man and all that stuff. And then he's like,
good point.
Duly noted. Duly noted.
Matching with, because since I watched the last episode of The Mandalorian last night, just to kind of see any connections or differences, the young lady that's working with Bo-Katan, she's in WWE. I can't remember her name. Young lady, she's, WWE, she be, fighting and doing all that mess. Like, she makes a comment about him and back to tanks. Like, kind of like you too weak to even fight, kind of like thing like that. And I was like, at that time, we had not seen him in that. So we were like, it's a weird statement to make. All right, whatever. Now we know.
Well,
he'd be up in that Vader tank trying to get his heel on. You know what I'm saying?
And it came off very much like one of my favorite sketches. Yeah, Sasha Banks. All right. Thank you, Andre. One of my favorite sketches from Key and Peele is the UFC one, where you got the young dude going, no, when there ain't even gonna be a fight, I'm gonna mercy kill this old man. And you hear me talk, I say this all the time. The reason a son never beats his dad's butt is because the dad knows how to fight. It's not how hard you hit, it's where and when. So the young man, no, I'm gonna murderize this old man, blah, 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 blah. And then the old man throat punches him and kicks him in the nads and then says, God's lessons are beautiful. You're gonna learn today, son. And that's it.
Yeah, because and it goes on. I remember when I was playing sports. At the time, my team was undefeated. We were playing basketball. And my coach was like, y'all think y'all all that? I'll bring my boys in here and we'll whoop y'all. And we were like, y'all old suckers, ain't trying to hear all that. Man, those old men whooped us. It was all old
and served you up, didn't they?
But see, in my mind, we're thinking like, oh, they old. They were all like, say, 38, 39, 40, something like that. But we like 16, we're like, we gonna kill y'all. Man, look, they be having them old man moves. See them old man moves? Because when you're an old man,
they got good at the stuff that you don't know exists yet.
Yes, because when you old, you've been beat up a couple times, you've been maneuvered a couple times, you done learned the game. Man, they were doing all the you'll be under the basket, they just leaning on you, making you more tired and stuff, just small stuff like that. Where it's like, you don't realize like having the whole weight of a man on you over and over. Lord, you know it's old man game, so they're gonna throw that little elbow on you. You know what I'm saying?
Again,
check your chest every now and then.
Don't know what they don't know, and the old knows what they don't, what the young don't know. And that was
we was young. We was just like, we faster than y'all. You know what I'm saying? We undefeated. All right. Yeah. The basketball is about running up and down the court. We quicker than y'all. So
how y'all gonna stop? You undefeated in your league. You're undefeated on your level, but there are levels beyond you. You know, and that's the really big thing, and that was what I was hoping to see from Boba Fett. Like every person, including the panel, has been going, I want to see I want to see destruction. I want to see all the tools. I want to see him kicking butt and all that stuff. And I'm like, Boba Fett's an old man.
Yeah, he went through some stuff.
Yeah, I want to see that wisdom.
All right, shout out to Blurtish, because Blurtish know what's up. Blurtish said, Keith, I think this you, but Keith said the YMCA moves. Then he said set shot, nothing but net. yo, it be that Bill Cartwright like set, just like but that joint be going in. Yo, I ain't gonna front. One of the best lessons I've learned, and I know it's not a pretty lesson, but the lesson I learned in basketball is, boy, they put a target up there for you. Mm-hmm. Why you trying to make it go through the net all the time? They got a target up there. Use the backboard. But of course, when I was younger, you want nothing but net. You don't want to use that backboard. You want a backboard? What am I using the backboard for? He's like, there's a target up there for you.
You know, I will tell you.
It's right there.
Look, I will tell you, as you know, I teach tabletop miniatures games. Mm-hmm. And in those war games, I get a lot of people going, no, I'm going to wipe your whole army off the table. And I'm like, that's cool. And I tend to win on points. I'm like, we're here to accomplish an objective. I'm going to wipe your army off the board because I'm superior, but I still won.
Yeah.
And it was like, none but net. And I dunked on him, had my crotch all in his face. It was like, but at the end of the game, we're 20 points ahead.
Yeah, it's like
you lost magnificently. But you still lost. Yeah, and I'm good with that, you know?
That joint is funny. But with this, I do like how we get those small connections, because, you know, we talked about the back to tank. And then you see, like you said, Black K came in, and I was wondering, because they were showing him sleeping. When they showed him sleeping, I was wondering if it was going to be one of the huts in there. And maybe them show that, hey, maybe these huts move faster than we think they do. Nah. Like they just put on like they slow. Because that's another thing. It could be that old man pretending like he's slow. Mm-hmm. And then he hit you with a quick 3-piece, and you be like, where'd that come from?
Nah, it was the old man who know he's slow, but he got all the young people working for him. so when that Wookiee went in there, that joint, tearing him out of that vat, and then the Power Rangers showed up, hitting him from 7 different directions. I'm like, the Power Rangers. That's what I'm talking about. That there is what I'm talking about, you know? I'm sitting up going, that's exactly it. Because, you know, one of the things about leadership, especially leadership in the underworld, and this is what I have learned from my family, who wasn't exactly above board, and a lifetime of watching mob movies, is there's always somebody that's coming to get you. Always. You got to watch your back all the time. And the ones who stay at the top, the Vito Corleones, the Tony Sopranos, you know, I'm trying to use all these references that people might know, is because they got gates of people. Gates of situations. So it's like, I'm gonna take out that old man. And if you take out this old man, every senator that's in my pocket are gonna come gunning for you with the power of Congress behind them. Or you can leave me alone. Or you can let me live, you know?
Now, I will say, to Boba Fett, if I were you, I know they're paying you tribute. Take some of that money, invest in 2 IG droids, all right? You know, and just have them chilling, scanning your room or whatever when you get to sleep on. Just you, because it won't too good. Black K was he was still standing. I mean, y'all gave him some trouble, but
he kind of got in there pretty easy, and it leads to this whole thing with I know Star Wars loyalists will be like, nah, man, nah, see, Boba got that here. He got that mental. It was a trap. He left that door unlocked. He meant for that to happen. I'm like, if it's debatable, I ain't interested. Okay, that's why it's like if it happens on screen, So yeah, that was an interesting thing. I'm looking at the chat too. I am noticing something that I wanted to bring up because when you and I get talking, we tend to go over time. The pit. Okay, when they did that fight with the Wookiee and the Wookiee ended up in the pit, I'm like, is he gonna keep him as the new Rancor? I don't know that because and when I like that, I like that for the people in the back explanation moment of. No, I mean, when what's her name? His right hand?
Fennec.
Yeah, when Fennec was like, what? You came in, you took over the huts, you chased down the mayor, and now you've got their fiercest bounty hunter in your dungeon. What is your problem?
It's like,
and he's like, it ain't going in here. It's like, yeah, I kind of won for right now. But season 10 of Doctor Who, at the very end, he says making them go away is good. Making sure they don't come back is better. And I'm like, yeah, that's that next step. That's what separates the leader from the troops. Is the leader's got to think those 2, 3, 4 steps ahead.
Now, Antoine Allen comes in and says, this show is so slow. It's only a few episodes. I want action, action, action instead of this kind of gentler Boba. All right? Now telegraphing a Rancor sneak attack on Boba. Now, I do like the interaction between the Hutts and Boba the next day. They was like, hey, it's all fair and love and war, right?
Like, it's just business. It's just business, Sonny.
And you see what kind of gangsters and what kind of crime family the Hutts are. The Hutts are like, this land has been promised to another crime syndicate. We out. And it's like, oh, they don't want to fight for it? Nope. We about money, all right? We about money. We ain't about war. See, war, you can go to war, but war usually stand in front of them profits. You go to war, then the cops come, i.e. the Republic and stuff. I don't want to do all that. I don't need them in my way. I need to make this money. You know what I'm saying?
See, I don't know, man.
Because y'all know if the block gets hot, then the cops are going to be here patrolling more, coming around more. There's going to be news cameras and stuff. They're going to be going door to door, asking questions. We don't need that.
No, I feel you on that.
Make money.
No,
so we gonna leave Tatooine alone. You do your thing. We going back over here.
See, when I saw that, I saw two things. I saw one, all right, we underestimated him, so let's pull a rope-a-dope. All right, no, you won. We gonna leave. We out. We go. And then they gonna come back harder. Or they are bailing because they realize that they are just warm up, and the next crime lord that they deferred to, they can't take, and they don't got enough faith in Boba to do an alliance to take down the bigger threat. Like I said, when it comes to crime,
the Hutts aren't what they are what they once were.
Yeah,
because there's been some bounty hunters have killed some Hutts. I think Darth Vader killed some Hutts in the comics. So there's not really. I think there might be like 3 or 4 Hutts left.
Yeah, they don't got.
And we're seeing 2 of them now.
Yeah, they ain't got the muscle. And yeah, I gotta say, Danny Trejo.
Yeah.
It was so good to see him again. It's
funny when he came on screen. Me, Lady Lisa, and I were like, "Oh, look at go on and get some work."
Yeah, come on, man. You need more than just your taco franchise, you know? And now for you guys out there that don't know, I'm not being like racist or anything like that. Danny Trejo actually has a chain of Mexican restaurants in Los Angeles.
Yeah, he does.
I've been there. They aight.
And for someone who's met him before, super cool guy, very fun.
Yeah, he's a mastiff, bro.
But at the same time, let me know. I was doing he's in a music video with man, I can't remember the drummer's name. But anyway, it was him and Yellow Wolf did an album together, and I was lucky enough to do the behind the scenes. But anyway, Danny Trejo was there, and I was doing behind the scenes, and he's cool, really cool guy. But he let me know, don't show any stuff with me smiling. Like he let me know.
Yeah.
Right? He was like, don't show anything with me smiling. I was like, okay.
No, it's a brand. It's a brand.
But I was like, I get it because you got it. He was like, yeah, I got it. I was like, I understand, no problem.
Yeah. But honestly, no, he's a mastiff. And you know, for those of you guys that don't got dogs, mastiff is a big dog that knows it's a big dog, so it don't have to be all up in your face. You know, mastiffs barely even bark. They just kind of look at you like dads. And that don't make me get up look.
Like if I have to get up, then
you know, that's and I mean he's a big dog that knows he's a big dog, you know, and it's just make sure he got the good chair and the big piece of chicken, and he cool. I would hate to be his children because I don't want to know what it would be like coming home with a C on your report card when your dad is Danny Trejo. Yeah.
We'll probably like get folded up for a C, but it was good to see him. Also, good to get more Rancor background and lore, because I don't know if how much Rancors are covered in comics, but we do get to see a little bit of them in Rebels. In
Clone Wars.
In Clone Wars, I think in Clone Wars. In the final season, I think we get to see him or something like that. Either in Rebels but I think it's in Clone Wars final season. But we get to see a little bit more when we have to kind of like go get one and take like a little baby Rancor. Right. So now seeing kind of like, okay, they're not just crazy killers. They're just like kind of bred that way, but they're kind of just regular animals that just be chilling, but they're not the prettiest animal. You know, they're not like teacup poodles. But they're just like regular animals, just like any other animal, but they just don't look great. So like Lady Lisa and I were talking earlier. Pit bulls are very muscular. People usually train them to fight, but I will be honest. Every big dog or pit bull that I've ever known has always been friendly and playful. Now, you want to know what dogs have bitten me in my life? They were all Chihuahuas. Yeah, they're all them small dogs. All them small dogs be trying to bite you. Like, all the pit bulls that I had would, like, the second you come in the house, they want to get the tennis ball. Like, that's the kind of dogs they were.
Yeah. Again, my mom had a bull mastiff. My cousin raises mastiffs. I have accidentally cuddled with a Great Dane. Because I was crashing at my friend's house. They had a Great Dane. I woke up and the Great Dane was next to me with its arm over me. And I'm like, oh, man, I didn't realize I was on a block. But yeah, because, you know, there was nothing I could do. It was a Great Dane and it pinned me while I was asleep. So, you know, it's a thing. And yeah, I mean, they're just like, they're cool. But the little ones, they got something to prove. They got something to prove. They got up there. So yeah. And that's kind of cool with the Rancor too. I really kind of dig that.
The whole bonding moment, that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and it gave a lot more context to the dude from Jabba's palace in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah,
because
why he cried and everything. Yeah, so now we know. Okay, I get it. This is kind of like a lifelong bond thing. Got you. Because like in the movie, you're like, I guess maybe that's like his dog or something. I don't know. Like you kind of just because the movie is moving now. So we don't really have time to be like, okay, whatever. He's crying about a weird animal, like he's a crazy monster, whatever.
That's it right there. You know, and the fact that he was already ugly and dirty and smelly at the same time, it was like, all right, you know what? I don't even care.
When you look at a Rancor,
I don't even care. I'm 11 years old. I don't care. You know,
they just don't look like they smell great.
Yeah, you know, so yeah. But the part that got me when you're talking about the kind of crime family the Hutts are,
Mhm.
one of the reasons I don't put a whole lot to them because they can be either sleazy or very politically savvy, and I'm not sure which one. I'm going to wait and see, because it was
Okay.
like, when he had what's his name, Black Wookie,
Yeah, Black K.
yeah, Black K, and he's like, yeah, so you sent this to me, so I'm giving him back, and they're like, take him as tribute. I don't know, some slave pits or something. We don't care. And I'm just like, bruh, bruh, you could have at least said that behind his back.
Yeah, yo. But I like how he pieced it up with him at the end. Like they let him, took him off his handcuffs or whatever. And he was like, he was like, look, man, hey, look.
But it was
Watch your
also
back.
it was also a very quiet moment of, I could use a man with talents like yours. You see what I mean?
Yeah, he's like, hey, look, that could have been a moment of like, yo, you tired of somebody dancing all in the videos? You know what I'm saying? If you tired of that, come to death row. Like
In the meantime, protect your neck. I'll catch you later.
Stay real. I got a Rancor now.
So yeah, and although I do gotta say, the thing with the mayor, okay, the thing with the mayor that led to the chase, I know they didn't just do. I know they already did it in the prequel trilogy. But little mister, the mayor would like to extend this particular thing, and no, you're not getting in. I know he's the power behind that throne. I already know that, and
he's the guy who's whispering everything, to the mayor and everything.
And it was like, so where's the mayor? Oh, he's talking with another gang. He's already said a different alliance. Oh, has he? And I'm like, okay, all right. This is what I'm getting into. Like, I get there's somebody in the chat that was like, I want action, action, action. And this is the kind of action I like. Okay, action with a purpose. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the Michael Bay level of explosions. I just need to fully understand why the things that are getting blown up and the people are fighting. I need a little bit more than I'm the biggest dog on the block. I'm like, what makes you the biggest dog, and why is the block better with you there?
Now hold on.
All I'm seeing is the end of Civil War.
Michael Bay is deeper than deeper than that. He's all right. Explosions, cool cars, pretty women, product placement. That screams green light for Hollywood. All right.
On Ultimate Rap Battles, when they did the filmmakers, Michael Bay came in there and he's like, look, it's all about the money. That's it. I'm a businessman.
It's all about the money.
This is what they will give me to pay for my mortgage and to live the lifestyle I want. So guess what? Big explosions, beautiful women, fancy cars. My artistic thing will be the around the body shot from below and sepia tones, because they pay me a small island to do this. Come here, Martin Lawrence. Come here, Will Smith. I want another island. And I respect that.
In Transformers, when a whole truck of Bud Light exploded, and there's like Bud Lights everywhere. It's like you look at it and you're just like, you know what? Okay. You're like, hey, I understand. Whatever, man.
Look, I'll say this. This is a hot take, and feel free to send the letters to backinthedeck@gmail.com. But most of the people that complain about product placement everywhere are artists who have never had to work. Because number one thing in art, like Terry Pratchett said it best in the book Soul Music. The young artist who just left the farm is like, I just want to be remembered. Isn't that what every artist wants? And the dwarf who was the saxophone player was like, in my experience, the one thing that every artist really wants, is to be paid.
Yeah.
And so, so
being remembered and being paid are two different things. Okay, when it comes to artwork, this week, I just told someone, yes, it can be about inspiration, but in our industry, we don't have time for inspiration. You need to turn it on and make something. Right? You need to turn. Look, this project came through. You need to make something. You need to find a way to always be, inspired to a certain degree. You need to be able to make something now. Because you're a production artist. This isn't yours. You don't get a year to do a painting or to wait until you get inspired to write this short story. No, it's due tomorrow. Or sometimes it's noon and it's due at 3. You know what I mean? So it's like that's just, it's the industry we in. So you don't get time to be inspired. Like,
so when it comes down to that, and not to mention the real artistry behind any sort of production is what can you do in the time allotted with the resources allotted. So, ain't nothing wrong with that. And speaking of that, let's talk about the production quality of this show.
Awesome.
Yeah. I remember so many people were going off about the production quality of The Mandalorian. And I could only flash back to 1999 with the Matrix movies. Everybody's talking about the production stuff. Bullet time this, bullet time that, until it got old. Everybody likes novels. And with that, it's the same production company, the same studios as The Mandalorian. So it looks just like The Mandalorian and people aren't going, wow, blah, blah, blah. But what I do have to say is the practical stuff in this episode is looking better every episode. Like you can really see that the production team and the lighting guys are really finding their footing. Like I don't mind that it doesn't look super realistic. I'm too old to want my entertainment to be a living window into a different world. Okay, so I don't mind. I don't mind B tier. Yeah, I don't mind B tier CGI and stuff like that. Can I get whisked away by what I'm looking at? And in this one, the thing that really, really got me was that chase scene. Cinematic shorthand loves using chase scenes to show you locations.
Yep.
If you want to know your way around a city, a fictional city, wait until the chase scene. If
and you kind of get to see the people too.
Huh?
You kind of get a chance to see the people too.
Yeah, and I mean, it had just the right amount of comedic effects with the little rickshaw droid that was like, all right, oh God, they're coming down here. All right, let's go. And he still got hit and they spun around. And I'm like, all right, that was comedic enough. That was not like, the special edition of the original trilogy adding in way too many visual gags.
Even though some stuff from the special editions actually help. Like because I know there's a a line online where it's like everything in the special edition is bad. It's like some of the stuff actually helps fill out some understanding or some visual identity of the place, but then there is some stuff where it's just like, all right, y'all just had money.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly it. So yeah, in this one, I mean, the show is getting better. Now I am with the boy, I think it's Geeky Andre that was saying that. That and Anton Allen. With the show is so slow. You know what? A Mack truck is slow. A diesel engine is slow, but once it gets going, there's no stopping it. And the stuff that lasts, like the place where this becomes artistic and the place that would last the test of time as far as storytelling goes, is with that slow burn, that build. The Godfather is hitting the 50th anniversary, right? And there aren't very many action scenes in that one, but there's a lot of slow burning conversations. A New Hope turns 45 this year. And that didn't have a whole lot of action.
Nah, not really. If you break it down, the action is essentially when they go in the little detention center circle, they're shooting in there. They almost get crushed by the trash compactor, but that's like what about 45 minutes into the film?
Yes.
Like maybe that's like maybe like an hour into the film before we get there.
Yeah.
Before that, you get the shot, the Han shot second shot in in Mos Eisley.
Yep.
But I think that's it. You don't get any real action. I mean, you open up with that sort of semi-chase scene, which perfectly runs off of Rogue One. Like, I ain't going front. Like, I watched Rogue One, came home, and put it in episode 4. But like, you get that little kind of sort of chase scene, but that's not really.
That's not action. A whole lot. Yeah, Rogue One had one big action set piece, and that was the climax. Outside of that, it was talking. You know.
And I'm gonna also add in for Rogue One. I want to say this about the Empire once again. It's funny how mean and ornery and oppressive they were, but their home base is this nice, beautiful island planet. Right? They was like, we want y'all to be in the cold, dark, horrible galaxy, but we gonna go to Bahamas.
Yeah.
I was like, hold up. That's nice. I was expecting to be like Vader's, like when Mustafar. Nah. The Empire was like, look, we gonna go chill out in the Caribbean, kick it, put our feet up in the sand, drink out a coconut or two while y'all do the hard work.
So when I was young, and my mom was a little bit more of a villain than she was before she passed on. Again, I'm an old man. And I'm like, oh, Mom, I see this new Transformer. I want that. And she's like, we ain't got that kind of money. Mom, can I have this cereal? You know, I ain't got money for that.
We ain't got money for that.
You just bought 7 pairs of new shoes and you're going to the freaking Caribbean on a cruise. And you're saying you ain't got no money. And
she's like, say that to your mama.
I ain't got, no, I did. I did, because that was the kind of kid I was. And she's like, yeah, I ain't got money for what you want. If you want to get what you want, you get a job and you work for what you want.
Yeah, cause I said that before.
I got money from my trip to the Bahamas. I got money from my shoes. You know, and I'm like, well, okay, well, I cannot argue that logic. I suppose I shall go out there and find work.
Yeah, because I've made that statement before. My mom probably slapped me in the mouth and told me that she'll do with her money what she gonna do. I remember asking for some money to go see a movie. She said she ain't had no money. I said, you just got your hair done. She slapped me in my mouth.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
Allegedly, she's still alive. She allegedly smacked me in the mouth and told me I'll do it with my money what I want to do with it.
Yeah, well, hey, you know what?
That's why I said, don't you tell your mama that.
I got slapped a lot, but I wouldn't say I was a stubborn kid. I'm just like, okay, but that doesn't answer my question.
It's like, yeah, but I made a point, right? It's like, you want to be right or you want to be alive?
And I'm like, I would rather understand, because if I don't understand, I will live a life of torment. Blam! Oh.
What you laughing about, little man?
But yeah, so I mean that was kind of thing. So when it comes to the Empire being like, yeah, we gonna live in all this lush Bahama planet, and y'all gonna live on a desert doing all this mining. Nice. What do you think they're mining? Okay, I promise you, your boss got a way better house than you might be looking into buying. You know, and it's like, I'm down here doing all the work. Why do you have all the pay? So yeah, I mean that's what it is. That's what it was, you know. And I love the fact that it's the villains doing it, you know. I mean, make no mistake, I've never liked the idea of a gubernatorial mansion. I'm like, you're the governor, you get an apartment. You get to live like the median. You
can have like a decent house. You don't have to have a whole like a decent house. You know, like a decent, you know, a nice little like 2-bedroom or something.
Damn. All right, Vixen is in the chat, and that's harsh. I put food on the table and clothes on your back. That is the full extent of my obligation to you. Good day,
Good
sir.
day, sir. That sounds a little bit like Fences when he was like, "Daddy, do you love me?" He was like, "Love you." But the funny thing is when that trailer came out, when that trailer dropped, every black man in America was like, don't ask that. Don't ask that. Don't ask that. No, don't ask that. You done opened it up. You done opened up that door. When Denzel turned to him, I was like, okay.
Here it come.
Here we go.
Here it come.
He was like, boy.
Yeah, that is not a question for rural sons to ask their rural fathers, because that ain't just a black thing. I know a lot of people in trailer park. Dad, do you even like me? Like you?
Like you?
The hell kind of question you trying to ask? Do I like you? I feed you. That's enough.
You got soap in there, right? Is the water hot?
Going to work every day? Do I like paying the mortgage? Do I like the fact that when you were going to be born, I lost my career as a rock star and had to start working at the post office?
Not the post office. It's like, did the lights turn on when you went in the house? You got shoes on your feet, right? You better get out of my face. Ask me if I love you. Don't. Yeah. We were like, don't ask that. Don't.
Right back to Chris Rock. Right back to Chris Rock. You know what, Dad? Thank you for paying the electricity so I can have all this light. I wouldn't be reading if it weren't for you, Daddy. What is Daddy?
All this light. It's so bright. Oh man. Now, speaking of having all this light, Boba Fett goes to speak to one of the Pikes, all right, that's supposed to be giving him money. They're supposed to be paying the Tusken Raiders, all right. You going through? Is it me or I didn't like how he was twirling that glass? I just don't like it. I didn't like it. I don't like how you twirling this glass on me. You're not like you twirling this glass like you better than me. All right.
Yeah.
So, look, put the glass down and speak to me like a man. All right. All this
you were feeling exactly
and then the gloves on with look,
it is the cinematic. All of these things are charismatic plays for power. It is nonverbal communication to show who's on top. When it's so you're talking to me. I am paying more attention to making sure that this doesn't spill than I do to anything you got to say. You know, that's exactly what it was. And it was, you were in my house, you talking to me under my audience, and I'm only going to hear what I want to hear, unless you convince me otherwise. Much like, going into your boss's office and asking for a raise, and you walk in there and his feet is on his desk.
It's one of those things where I will agree with Antoine Allen. I need Boba to come out of one of these meetings with like a finger or something like that. I need you to. Sometimes I know you want to be cool, but dude, you got to realize that someone gonna have to be an example sooner or later. Right?
Okay.
And that twirling that cup, that was a perfect time to be like, you know what? I'm gonna let you live, but I'm coming away with something. A lesson will be, because first you made me come down here, all right? I'm the daimyo up in this piece, all right? King Kong ain't got nothing on me, all right? Wow. I put all y'all in Pelican Bay, all right?
I implore you to watch Godfather 1. Okay?
Because the movie just looks so long. Every time I see it, I'm like 3 hours. I don't know if I can watch this.
All right, so Siri, I implore you to watch it because they're treating him like the new guy, and he's got to do something to prove himself. And again, spoilers for a movie that's almost 50 years old. Everybody was like, no, Godfather, I don't want to work for Michael. Let me go get my own family. Let me start my thing. Let me do this. He's a war hero. He ain't in this life. This ain't him. He always wanted against it. Blah, blah, blah. Why should we follow him? And then the baptism, where he kills the heads of the other 5 crime bosses, like all of them at one time, while in a church, and his nephew was being baptized, and he's standing Godfather over the baby while his men are out there killing everybody. So that's the whole, but everybody is going, no, you should take a finger. You should take this to the street. You should, but where we're at on this is a whole different level. Okay, that street stuff, I keep saying it every episode. War is young men fighting and old men talking. And the real power is at that table with them old men.
Not checkers, but it's just like, Every now and then you like, man, look, how much? Come on, man. Everybody's disrespect. We got to do something.
No, Boba Fett is like Santa Claus. He's making a list. He's checking it twice. Everybody's getting something because that is what it takes to be a good leader in a corrupt place.
I get you.
If you, again, just like you were talking about the Hutts, if Boba walked out with a finger, he would have walked out with a finger and a war. And he ain't ready for that. Okay.
And by the end of the episode, we see that there's more pikes coming in, which means that old boy that was just twirling the glass is pretty much like, look, you don't know, but we about to take your spot. But Boba's like, you don't know that I know that you trying to take my spot.
Yeah. And that's exactly it.
I still think that they're discounting his connection with the Tuskens, man. I know they went and killed the tribe that he was with, but I feel like,
at this point, I think every Tusken Raider is played by Sean Bean. Because every time we see Tusken Raiders, they just get massacred at this point. I mean, we saw it in the prequel trilogy. We saw a little bit of it in the original trilogy. We saw it even on the Mandalorian. We're getting slaughtered by this big beast. Oh, I have a plan.
I got a plan. That was a great episode too.
It really was.
Like them learning to actually communicate with one another, and then that was dope.
Now we get Boba's tribe, and then Boba's tribe gets slaughtered, and I'm just like, you know what? We need to do something with these Tusken Raiders to make them more than just sacrificial lambs, especially with Jawas still out there. Like I'm still looking for my pile of Jawas. All right, I never liked those. The only time I ever liked them was in Spaceballs and Phantasm, and that's
because they ride around in a big Hummer. And there's like 1 million of them, so you can't stop them. So it's like that's how, like, they ride in the big Hummer, and you just can't stop. It's too many of them.
You can if you freaking vacuum all the air out of that damn Hummer.
Oh man!
Not that I sit around thinking about ways to kill Jawas, because I have more things to do with my time than that. But I do think very quickly, so make of that what you will.
So, with that said, final thoughts on this episode.
This episode worries me because every episode has gotten better so far. Okay, this is the best episode of the season so far, and I am seriously afraid that it's going to peak and it's going to raise our expectations.
I think when it does peak, I'll agree. I think when Boba finally gets tired of it, it's going to be like that kid that people were picking on. Mm-hmm. And he was like, you know what? I'm tired.
The one that brings the gun to school?
Yeah. It's like, look, I'm tired of it. Now I'm ready to hurt somebody. And you might be right. It might be a situation where, because he did, the actor, I can't remember the actor's name, I apologize. Mm-hmm. But the actor of Boba Fett, his actor said, wait until episode 7. Mm-hmm. Even though we, meaning like the fans, were under the impression that there were only 6 episodes. So now it's like, hold up. Is there like something that we don't know? Like, is there like, or again, is like 6? Is 6 a double episode or something?
I'm seeing the Corleone takedown happen, and I'm looking forward to it because that kind of set the standard for what it's like to be a crime boss in fiction. But I would be less worried about this show if, and I'm about to get a whole bunch of hate. So like I said, send emails to backinthedeck@gmail.com, BACKINTHEDECK@gmail.com. But I am hoping against hope that this is the only season of the show. I'm hoping that he does the Godfather takedown. Yeah, I'm hoping that he does the Godfather takedown, consolidates his power on Tatooine, becomes the daimyo of pretty much the whole planet, and then we get back to the other stuff in the Star Wars universe where he is a background character of note. That is what I hope. Yeah. Okay, I really hope because
that'll be cool to like. Then like when you go to Tatooine, it's like you got to go pay respects, to your boy. And that would be cool. That would be cool.
I would like that a whole lot. Especially if we get kind of a scene where he and Luke have a talk.
That would be interesting, because it's been years since that fated day.
And we know how the Mandalorian ended. So, we know he around. We know he out there. Yeah. So,
and we still have Grogu as a loose end to a certain degree.
Well, we also have a second season of The Mandalorian coming, so
third season.
Third season, yeah, we have a third season of Mando coming, so that's cool. But yeah, if this is Boba's meteoric rise to power, and then we put him on the shelf back there, saying we're gonna get to you a little bit later, we just had to do this to flush out some of the grander picture, I will be happy as a lark. Happy as a lark. But if they're building this up and they want to stretch some more stories out to season 2, I'm worried. So
okay,
that's my final thought on this.
But episode. I do think this is only supposed to be one season. I can't remember where I read it, but I think Dave Filoni was talking about this like it's only supposed to be one season. So that'll be cool. No, Antoine Allen said they're gonna play In the Air tonight if he sees Luke. Oh man. That
X-wing lands on Tatooine and we hear da 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 da.
No. Before he lands, you see just a lone X-wing flying towards a brownish planet in the distance. It's like, doo, doo, doo.
Yeah.
It's like, and he's just. It's like, is he Don? Instead of Luke, they show Don Johnson in there. Like, oh man, but final thoughts. This does make me wonder, where is the Crimson Dawn, and where are the Black Sun? It makes me wonder.
4 and 5.
It makes me wonder where they are, or if they're even interested. They might be like, I don't care about no Tatooine. Ain't nobody tripping on that. Like, it would be cool to get a greater idea of how the other families feel about the movements and the I guess the availability on this planet. Mm-hmm. But because since there is a power vacuum, I would like to see the other powers and their opinions on it. But I know, look, we ain't got but 6 episodes, possibly 7. So, we'll see. Geeky Andre says it would be cool if Boba Fett rises to power like the Godfather, and in the Mandalorian season 3, Mando comes to see him for help with something.
That would be fire. That would be fire.
He'd be like, here, look, take some of my best Tuskens. All right, they got your back. And he's like, oh yeah, word, I'll chill with some Tuskens.
I'd like to see it as, no, I fought too hard to get here, but while you were here, you are under my protection and the protection of Tuskens. But yeah, I mean, again,
like, hey, I don't get into that no more. I'm all Tatooine. I don't got nothing else.
Well, heavy is the head that wears the crown, which is why it's so hard to get. And that's what this is showing. This is showing the rise of a king.
All right, now Geeky Andre says Crimson Dawn should be gone by now. Timeline-wise, they were destroyed. All of them are gone though? Oh. I thought only like a few members. I thought what's her name was still alive around this. But maybe I'm okay, cool. Maybe there's something that happened in the comics that I didn't know about. But I thought of course Maul is gone, and I thought old boy that Kira killed or whatever, he's gone. But I still thought like the organization as a whole was still around, but maybe not. Maybe, maybe, I don't know, some Inquisitors got to him or something. I don't know. But anyway, with that said, y'all, we out. We done. We have exhausted this episode. We have had fun.
We've also gone way over time.
Yeah, and we're overtime, way overtime. So, Clever Little Vixen, Geeky Andre, Antoine Allen, Mr. Lee, Eon 001, Blurtish.
The Nerdy Brew.
Garrett George, the Nerdy Brew. Oh, hey, Nerdy Brew. Like, where
you been?
we'll holler at you next week then. With that said, tell them where they can find you, Solar.
You guys can find me on twitch.tv/BID_P. That's for Back in the Deck Productions. And you can find me here on YouTube under Solar Gray, where essentially we got a lot of the archive from our Twitch streams and our live streams about games, geek culture, and how all of the things you do to be a geek can actually help you with the life that you want to live instead of the life you think you have to live. So you can find me there. You can also send me an email at backinthedeck@gmail.com. That's BACKINTHEDECK. And of course, hit me up over on the social media that everybody has, whether you want to admit it or not. And that's Instagram and Twitter, both at Back in the Deck.
All right, word up. With that said, thank you guys for coming through. Make sure to hit that like button one more again, just for good measure, and then it'll probably turn off, then go and hit it again and turn back on. And make sure to share this to your folks. Be like, look, man, Sunday, you ain't got nothing to do. You just chilling. Come and talk about Star Wars with your boy. But
watch which one of us is swirling our drink around in a cup.
Yeah, man. I had to get some black gloves and just swirl around a drink for no reason. So, with that said, we're gonna leave y'all with PL Parker Lewis, Arcatron. We got podcasts, all that jazz. Holla. We see y'all later on. Are we talking about divorce court? We getting it? Look. Tonight, we got Black Together, and we talking about divorce court, and we got some good cases. You know, I got to put on my lawyer hat, all right? When I get to judging, all right? When I be getting to judging y'all relationships, it's going to be good. So we'll see y'all tonight, 7 p.m. PST. From us to y'all, thank you for chilling, and peace. We out, and man, Lord help Boba. See you next time.
I'm the man, yes sir, that killed the bear barehanded so the people won't forget it. Getting money for I was legal to drink. I care what a broke nigga think.
Just like the pack of Lewis.
Look, everything I do so cold. I can do this, both eyes closed. Too short, I stay on my toes. About that guap boy, anything goes. Help the bear if we outside. Help the bear if we outside. Still tipping, baby, nothing changed. I'm still grinding over here, yeah. Still sliding through my own lane. Shorty, nothing funny over here. Dallas rain everywhere around me. Dream to get money. Made it through the storm, living sunny. Dreams came true, now we eating. I got more dreams to chase, gotta reach them. Trying to put a team together like the Hunger Games. Everybody grinding cause we all came from Hunger Games.